In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the grid to create an enlargement of your still life photo, and that's what we're doing for your project. So you should be ready here with your paper already divided into quarters and your reference picture really close to where you're drawing. You will be using a 2H pencil and you can have your eraser out. I am using a regular pencil so that you will be able to see it. Now, when we're drawing, you're going to be pushing very lightly. Again, you'll see me pushing much harder because you need to be able to see it from the camera, but you make sure you're pushing really, really lightly so you'll be able to erase. Now, we're using the grid so that we can work on our proportions. And so what we need to do is make sure that we're drawing these objects where we see them in the grid. So you can see that this whole square over here only has just a little bit drawn in it. This over here has the bell almost right halfway through, and most of our drawing is concentrated in the bottom of this picture. So we can start here by drawing this square that goes behind. So everything was sitting on a rectangle of construction paper to create a little background. So we can start by drawing this little rectangle that goes through, and that gives everybody somewhere to sit. Now, after we do that, you're going to start to draw in the little line that was the wall line. Okay, and this will be the little wall line, and some of this will end up getting erased. Let's start drawing our objects. Now, this shoe, and we'll need to alter some of the details in it. We can see that the shoe comes over a little bit and then it goes down through here, and then he goes all the way over here, right, almost touching the edge of the paper. And so we get the basic shape for the shoe drawn out. Now he's going to go through the corner here, it's going through the corner here, and then it's going to go down this way for this little line, right? And we're just using the reference picture to tell where everything should go. And so as I'm drawing, I'm looking back and forth from the reference picture to my drawing, and I'm checking out my proportions to make sure that I've got everything where it needs to go. Okay, so this is just a basic shoe outline. I'm not going to draw more on it until I get some more of the drawing put in. What if I realize the whole thing needs to move over and I've spent a lot of time working on some details? I'm going to feel pretty bad and not want to move it over. But this, it looks like a flat sock. So I'm not going to feel too bad if I have to erase part of it to make it look more three-dimensional. Now I'm going to draw the bell, and the bell is symmetrical, which means that it's the same on both sides. And I want the bell to be right about here. So what I'm going to do to make my bell symmetrical is draw a line straight down like this. When I do that, then I know that the left side and the right side need to be the same. Now more proportions talk. The top of the bell is about the same height as the top of the shoe. So I can look over here and see that this is about the same height as the top of the shoe. The bottom of the bell is parallel with the bottom of the shoe. They're about the same tallness down there too. The bell is round, and because it's round, when it turns on its side, it becomes a curved line or an ellipse. And so we'll draw like that. And then I can tell that if I'm going to make this wide enough to be in here with this, I need to probably scoot the shoe over just a little bit. And that's okay, and I'll just make that adjustment as I draw this up. So I have that little side. side there, and then I'm drawing a little bit on the left, and then a little bit on the right. A little bit on the left, a little bit on the right. And I definitely have things to fix and make look nice, but for my beginning outline, this is just fine. And then this is going to go up like that. Okay, and then this will go out. It goes out and then it comes back in. All right, like I said, I need to move this over just a little bit because I can see that they overlap and the shoe is behind the bell a little. So I'll just extend that. My gosh, the shoe takes up a lot more space than I thought it would. But that's okay. I just am working on the sole and making this come up. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, at this point, I've got a bunch of lines all over my paper and I don't necessarily need all of them. So I'm going to go in here and start erasing some of my guiding lines. Right, I don't need that. This isn't see-through, so I won't keep that. I do need to keep it on that other side though. And then I'll adjust down here. I made a bunch of extra lines for the bottom of the bell. I've got my proportions pretty well, so now at this point I can erase the grid. You need to see if you have your proportions right and you're ready. And then you can erase your grid, hopefully, because you were pushing a lot lighter than I was, you will not be able to see the grid anymore. Mine will still be visible because I drew it really darkly so that you would be able to see it. And that's okay. All right, so we're just adjusting the lines. I get rid of this one too because it's behind here. Okay, so I like to do my erasing in batches, where I do a whole bunch of cleanup and then I go back in afterwards. So rather than stopping to erase all of the time, I will draw for a long time, fix and adjust, and then I go and erase after I get to a good stopping place. And if the lines start to get too confusing, sometimes you have to stop and erase because there's just too many lines and it just gets a little overwhelming. Okay, so then our next bits are just drawing in all of our details, right, and adjusting our drawing so that it becomes more detailed, right? So for example, we've got to get the beads in, and the beads could be kind of difficult. So what I would do to draw the beads is start with a little line and go like this to take them on the path that they need to go. So I would go like that and then going around, okay, and then they kind of go back here. All right, so that gives me a path for my beads, and then I can draw little circles in. Let's put them a little bit closer together. As the beads go up, they will appear to be closer together, right? And then when they're hanging, there will be a little space in between them where you can see the string that they're hanging from. little beads, and then they start to get closer together over here too. Right, just like that, and then you would just continue around, okay? And as you're going through this, you're just adding more details and adjusting things and changing things. If that made sense, then you are finished watching this video. If you need more and more instruction, I'm going to continue working on this and if I have time, I'll post an extra video with more of the drawing. Thanks, y'all.